we are gonna pass to the next panel. We are actually bringing three incredible companies. As Ilan and Jerry were talking about how to bring innovation with technology to the cities, and before Maria and Tricia talked to us about the EdTech startup boom, how the market is changing, the industry is changing, and now is the opportunity for EdTech companies to really shine and to enable innovation to penetrate the educational market. So we have here three very different companies, all of them that had amazing growth last year. So, and to moderate this panel, Paz Eliav, the director of GES Awards, Global Competition and Community, and the head of Mindset Accelerator. Paz, the microphone to you.
Be here for your microphone, right?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Great being here with you and with these three amazing EdTech entrepreneurs who will share their insights and experience with us right now. So EdTech is booming. The education space is being disrupted, like we just heard from Maria, and as we all know, these three companies were actually very, very successful also before 2020. But now they are skyrocketing. Genealogy, with millions of users worldwide, just announced a $20 million B round from leading EdTech investors. Cybint, with crazy growth of 200%, was just acquired by HackerU, and Nearpods, with 1 million teachers using the platform, 2 to 3 million students per day on the platform, and in the beginning of 2021 was acquired by Renaissance Learning for an unprecedented amount of $650 million. So amazing companies, very busy people. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And let's start with hearing a little bit from you about your companies, about your products and business. Emiliano, let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the introduction. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah. All right. So Nearpod, we started 10 years ago. We were in the business of helping publishers with the digitalization of their content. And when iPads were launched, we were asked to do learning apps. And then we went to the classroom and saw the need of a platform that will help teachers engage their students in a synchronized way. We created the platform on our own. We did some pilots, and very rapidly the adoption was unbelievable. We couldn't raise money at the beginning, so we decided to put the platform for free in the App Store and bet it on the bottom-up grassroots movement, consumerization of IT with a free version. And then over the years, with amazing traction, we were able to monetize a different version with a unique go-to-market approach, selling to principals, not to districts at the beginning. We were able to monetize in many schools, and then we continued to raise money and the dual model, top-down, bottom-up, over the years. Before we sold it, we were dealing with 75% of the districts in the US. The company is over 100 million in revenue today.
That's amazing. Thank you, Emiliano. Roy?
Yeah, so again, it's always a pleasure to join Mindset and CET events. So thanks for inviting me. In a nutshell, Cybint, and now part of the Thrive DX group, which I'll mention in a minute. Cybint, I started a company several years ago, following some time in the Israeli military to solve mainly the fact that cybersecurity, other than being a security challenge, is also very based on the fact that there is lack of talented or qualified people in this market, and also lack of skills within companies. And actually that's causing a lot of the cyber attacks that we hear on the news, is actually based on the fact that you can either, you need both to train people, to reskill people into this industry, and also to upskill people who are already in this industry. And we decided to develop learning, training, and simulation platforms in cybersecurity. So we can actually license them to universities, colleges, and vocational training companies around the world. Today, we have about 60 of these, and they will use these platforms. They are using these platforms to train their students. We're growing at a pace of several universities per month. So it's actually accelerating pretty fast. And at the same time, also licensing these same platforms to corporations and enterprise so they can upskill their employees. So that's what we've been doing for the past few years. And now we are actually looking at expanding, and this is part of the DX or Thrive DX digital transformation, to expand beyond cybersecurity. So when we think about other digital transformation movements, training, both reskilling people into other technological positions and upskilling employees in other technological positions. So we see the need for, for digital transformation education. And this is in a nutshell what we do today.
Thank you. And before we move on to genealogy, can you say, Roy and Emiliano, a few words about the acquisition? Was it a strategy that you were aiming for, or just an opportunity that came your way? What happened in the past year that led you to this step?
Yeah, I try to be brief. It's a long story. It was not the initial intent. The initial intent was to create a sustainable, profitable, impactful company. And then, over the years, we raised money from private equity, and we knew that by that decision, we're going to be facing the decision of selling the company at some point. And then after COVID, with the massive growth that we got, we started to receive some offers that we couldn't deny. So that was the result of the evolution of the business, but that was not the initial intent.
Yeah, from my point of view, it wasn't it wasn't the main path that we thought that we were about to take in 2021. But two main things that happened. One is that we started seeing a lot of consolidation in our industry, specific niche, where companies are actually join forces with other companies, and competition space is much more challenging. And we wanted to make sure that we are much stronger versus the other offering in the market. So actually partnering with another player in this market was something that we thought about strategically. We didn't know it would be an acquisition. And the second thing is that the way we structured this acquisition is kind of like an acquisition that behaves more like a merger. So that's an acquisition, and post-acquisition, we actually restructured the group in a way that we are now operating together and working on the synergies. So it actually makes both entities much stronger right now in the ability to grow faster in the market. So it is aligned with the growth strategy that we had.
Great. Alberto, the winner of Guest Awards 2019. We are so proud to be part of your journey. Tell us about your company, and then we continue discussing.
Yeah, thank you, Paz. Thank you, Mindset, for inviting us. And Roy and Emiliano, a real pleasure to share the panel with you. I hope we can be in touch from now on. I have a couple of slides of this presentation made with genealogy to show you a little bit of the product. Well, we think that there are two kind of communication. As you can see here in the left part, there are the traditional communication, right, with a long text and a plain image and a link. And here, the interactive communication that we propose to the market, where you can see is layers of information, tooltips, windows, and a video that gets in the same creation. So to sum up, we say that with static content you bore, and with interactive content you engage. The problem before genealogy is that the interactive content is hard and expensive to develop because you need background in design or computing. That's why we like to say that we are democratizing the content, the content creation in the web and the interactive content, because now it's affordable and easy for everyone. We have built one for all tool Genially is probably the more versatile tool in the market by which you can create not just for presentation, but any kind of learning experience, gamification, vertical infographics, and everything. So we save money and time to people. We base the tool in for superpowers, interactivity to provide an exploratory process to our audience, animation for eye-catching, monitoring to be able to know what is working and what is not, and integration. You can integrate Genially into almost everything in other blogs and LMSs, and also you can integrate other technology into Genially like maps, videos, and so on. It's extremely easy to use Genially. Everything is drag and drop, what you see, what you get, and you have thousands of templates. We have now more than 14 million users in 190 countries and growing extremely fast with a viral system, with a viral model. We receive more than 35,000 new users a day. That's it. That is more or less Genially in 2 minutes.
That's great. So your product can be used in many different verticals, industries for different purposes, but you chose to focus on education. Can you say a few words about this decision and how do you see the market developing in the past 18 months?
Yeah, well, in the past 18 months, we have, in 2020, we did a +4 in all our metrics, and now we are about to do a +2 in 2021. Yeah, we are growing a lot. Yes, you are right. We don't like to say that we are focusing in education, but we have an extremely deep traction in education, more or less around our 80% of our business is education. And it's because of, it's a matter of reality. A teacher that creates content for students and for the teachers that come to our platform and get the tool because they like it and they get hooked to it. And this is the vertical by which we enter in the different markets, and by which we go to another different verticals like corporations in this moment. But yes, 80% of our business is in this moment education. And the decision is not, it was not a decision, it was more or less like Emiliano said. At the beginning, we are still trying to build a tool for everyone, for everyone, that any kind of creator. But the fact is that the truth is that there are millions of creators in the education sector. So that's why the education is getting generally like a tool they are using every day.
That's great. I'd like to ask all of you, for the early stage startups that are listening to us now, what do you think in your product, your unique value proposition was so attractive for the market and for investors?
Well, Emiliano, Roy, I've been speaking for a while. Your turn, I think.
No, I mean, as I said at the beginning, when we started in 11, 12, and for a year, we couldn't raise money. And at that time, we had pilots, we had proven that the platform was needed, but all the investors in Silicon Valley will tell us that they wouldn't invest in education, that education is very frictional, it's very slow, the decision-making progress, the metric of how many years it will take you to become a unicorn. In our case was, we didn't have an answer because it was not clear. So at that time, we went back home with the idea that we were too early and that we were not an investable company. And that's why we decided to put the platform for free and try traction and see other ways of growing the company. I think today it's a different world. It has been proven that education has a lot of potential. The industry is going through a huge disruption, a lot of VC money pouring into edtech. So, I mean, if we were to start today, it would be a completely different landscape. Obviously, we would not be the only one. We were alone for a few years. If somebody started today, we have a lot of competition, but at the same time, the money poured into edtech, it's amazing. I think it's the best time to be an entrepreneur in edtech, because the traction is there, the investment, the technology is already in the schools, and all the decision makers understand that they need technology to move forward.
Definitely. And you managed even before that to achieve some very impressive milestones. Roy?
Yeah, I'd say that we were at this interesting intersection between cybersecurity, which not necessarily education, and the fact that in the last few years, cybersecurity, I mean, in the last decade maybe, but maybe specifically in the last 5 years, cybersecurity became a bigger and bigger concern globally, with more attacks, more victims, more money being both being spent on security solutions, and then the growing understanding that actually education and education of employees, education of security professionals from university, from the what we like to call from the classroom to the boardroom, is really important in that case. So that was one movement, and to that movement came the concept of, or not concept, but the understanding that the future of work around digital transformation education, including cybersecurity, is a big thing in education. And COVID actually, gave it even a stronger push. So I think that for us also, COVID was in a way an opportunity to accelerate, of course, with all the bad things it brought with it to the world. It did change a lot of the understanding of the importance of online education, of specifically cybersecurity education, and that allowed us to grow pretty fast in the last 2 years. So that's kind of like how I see it.
Well, in our case, I would say it's more or less about 4 pillars. One of them is interactivity. We think that the communication through content has to be interactive, and we built the product thinking of interactivity. Other is versatility, not just thinking of a tool, not just to create a particular infographic or a presentation, but to create any kind that you can imagine. The limit is in your imagination. So versatility is also has been also very important for our investors. Also, wow effect, and that means that you can create very good results with low effort and in a short time. And also the community. We built a quite good community, quite interesting community in a short time. We did an ambassador program by which people really love the product and spread the word. So yeah, more or less that 4 pillars.
That's amazing. Thank you all for sharing. Unfortunately, we have to wrap it up because we're out of time. But your journey is working with a lot of edtech startups. Your journeys are very inspiring and a great model and a place to look at. So thank you for your insights. Thank you for joining, and congratulations. Good luck in the next 5 years.